Boys, I'm so happy that game week 8 is behind us. It was an actual nightmare. Fantasy football is a cruel bitch, and what happened to me was in game week 8, I didn't realize that there was a Friday deadline. And what that meant was I missed 11 points from Kevin Debruyne when I could have transferred out Salah, who did not have a game. Bearing in mind I had 2 free transfers. Not only did I miss those 11 points, but I ended up burning a transfer.
No! God, please, no! No!
We're going to go over game week 8, but it's honestly such a nightmare that I'd rather not. So I'm going to do this as quickly as possible. If you can look at it, it's basically 3 players who returned. It was Trippier at the back with an assist, Haaland, my captain, with a goal, and Tony with a goal. All in all, that resulted in a 36-point game week, which left me at a game week rank of about 9 million, or the bottom 10% of the entire world. Now, it's not all bad news, buggers. This is what happens sometimes in FPL, and sometimes you've got to roll with the punches. What it does mean is that I don't have to worry about trying to fit Salah back into my team, because he's already there. So I don't need to worry about a -4 hit.
Nice.
And in general, that's probably cost me 7 points in total, and not necessarily that 11 points, just because I needed to transfer Salah back into my team. But all in all, I am disgusted in myself. So rookie, but what can we do? Some talking points for this game week. I don't think we've got any notable injuries that's been picked up, except maybe for a couple of the England boys, Maguire, Stones, that picked up an injury while international duty. The other notable one is Isak, who's picked up an orange flag. But in general, I wouldn't be too stressed if you have brought him in. Rather roll with the punches, see how it looks like the next couple of game weeks, and don't stress too much. There's still tons of stuff to do. A couple of the trends, everybody's moving Jesus out of their team. I think that Arsenal's fixtures, if you take a look, they are starting to turn. They've got Liverpool and Tottenham in their next 2, with a blank game week in game week 12. So, like me, as you'll see in some of my transfer plans, the time was to move Jesus out of the team and potentially bring in like a Tony or a Mitrovic. Salah being moved up by almost 200,000 Premier League managers. Now, I think that's a major mistake. And you'll see later in the video just when it comes to my team selection, but I really don't think that that was a good idea to do. Alexander-Arnold, another one that I might have moved out from my team, something to bear in mind. Arsenal Zinchenko's picked up a little bit of a knock, and Tierney, his replacement, also seems to not be looking great. From an Arsenal perspective, they're missing out on key men on that right-hand side, so could see some lack of creativity in that department, but we'll just have to wait and see. From a transfers in perspective, unsurprisingly, Saliba with his goal, he becomes the top transfer target for a lot of managers. Trippier continues to be piled on in terms of us fancy Premier League managers. Tony, who I've got in my team, very happy to have. I still don't understand the obsession with Maddison. He managed to score a worldie, but all in all, from a Leicester side that's doing pretty shit, I wouldn't look at Maddison at all. And Zaha, top transfer target. Crystal Palace's fixtures look fantastic, so that's definitely something I'd recommend for you guys in your teams. Bring on game week 9. It couldn't have come quickly enough. This international break was too painful for me to hold. But all in all, I'm very happy for it to be back so that I can redeem myself in the coming game week. You guys will notice that I made 3 transfers to my side. So I did the knee-jerk thing. I was upset. I couldn't believe I'd made the mistake. And I transferred all of these guys out after the Son hat-trick. And I brought him into my team. Now, that is a bit of a knee-jerk reaction because Spurs' fixtures don't look that great. But in general, that Arsenal-Spurs fixture tends to bring up a lot of goals. So he could be a great chart in terms of that Arsenal and Spurs derby, where we've seen as many as 7 goals scored in a particular game. So it is worth taking a look at. Salah, I didn't need to bring him back into my side, so he's already there. I'm quite lucky and happy to have him in that place. And then the other 2 transfers I made was to move Alexander-Arnold out of the team to allow me to afford that premium of Son, Haaland, and Salah in the side. In general, I'm a little bit worried about Alexander-Arnold's attacking prowess, but Liverpool haven't looked as good as they have in previous seasons at the back. So I'm not that sad to not have to have Alexander-Arnold in the team, but he does seem to be a player that really could hurt you. But he is a premium in his own right, and we'll just have to wait and see whether or not that comes to bite me in the bum. For the rest of the side, Emerson, who I've been talking up this entire FPL season, was left on the bench, but potentially he could get his slot back in a West Ham side that's looking a little bit better, not much better. But if he doesn't start, then there is Williams on the bench for cover, or even Anderson, but they are playing Chelsea, who I'm a little bit worried about. Henderson at the back. I could start Ward, but Forest have looked good from an attacking point of view. So I'm not sure whether this is a good time to give Ward another shot. Leicester have been terrible at the back and definitely are warranted at their bottom of the league position. And that's why I don't know about Maddison for you FPL guys trying to think about it. So just consider a couple of other options. There's no need to just jump on Maddison from the beginning. Salah, captain, Brighton, Albion away. I think this is where we're going to see a nice turnaround from Salah. And we're going to see him getting back to that full base that we knew and loved him for in the previous seasons.
Stop it. Get some help.
And that's it, buggers. Short and sweet. I needed to get away from Game Week 8 as soon as possible. Game Week 9 is up and ready. Leave in the comments what your teams are looking like, and I'll see you guys in the next video.